We're going to start off talking about the Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court is what branch of the federal government? Judicial. Exactly. Thank you. Judicial branch. All right. Does anybody know how many justices serve on the Supreme Court?
3.
Try 3 times that many.
6.
Oh boy.
9.
9.
Oh, I thought you meant like 2. Said 6.
Yeah. 9 justices. And does anybody know how long they serve?
8 years?
7 to 9 years.
Life. Serve for life. So the Supreme Court is really, really important.
Until you die.
Right. The Supreme Court's really important. So let's look at some of the ways that the Supreme Court has changed. So the Supreme Court has changed over time. The decisions of the Supreme Court have expanded individual rights in the years since Brown versus Board of Education. Which you guys remember from the Civil Rights Movement? And the membership of the United States Supreme Court now includes women and minorities. So just like so that first blank there is changed, and then over time, the decisions of the United States Supreme Court have expanded individual rights and now include women and minorities. Yeah, so the next 4 slides are going to be talking about Supreme Court justices. You only need to know the first 3. The last one is there just because I want to make a point about it. When we get there, there's going to be a panic. Where do we write this down? You don't have to. Don't worry about it. It's just the first 3. So the first one, yes, is an old lady who looks a little bit like Betty White. All right, and this is Sandra Day O'Connor. You need to, right here you just need to know her name, but when you do the vocabulary, the important part is that she's the first female member of the Supreme Court.
And a Chancellor of William and Mary.
She was the first
President and a Chancellor of William and Mary.
and a Chancellor of William and Mary, which is far more important than being on the Supreme Court.
Far more important. Jokes.
So, she's going to be appointed by Reagan. Reagan was the conservative president that we learned about last class. All right, everybody got down Sandra Day O'Connor? Yeah. The next one, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Yeah, so this is going to be the second woman appointed, and she's going to be appointed 2 presidents later by President Bill Clinton. And she is still on the court. They serve for life, and she is still a member of the Supreme Court. Sandra Day O'Connor, I want to say, was replaced by the Spanish lady, as it were, Sonia Sotomayor. And then Justice Souter retired and was replaced by Justice Kagan. So what?
I said she looks like one of those people just like Nanny DeVito's old mean nannies.
Yeah, the opposite of Mrs. Doubtfire. Yeah, no, she's still on the court. If you watch the State of the Union, you'll still see there she's hunched over a little bit now when she's listening to the president speak, but still a brilliant, brilliant legal mind. The next one is Clarence Thomas. He's going to be the second African American ever appointed to the Supreme Court. Do you guys remember the first one?
No.
Come on. Thurgood Marshall. Thank you very much.
Joe Brown.
Thurgood Marshall. Yep. And he's also still on there, absolutely.
Really?
It's, yeah. Both Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Clarence Thomas are both still on the Supreme Court. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is probably in her late 70s, early 80s. Clarence Thomas is probably in her mid 60s.
So what if they just get tired of doing it? Like,
Then they can retire. They can retire. Oh, yeah.
Retire.
Oh, no, you're not forced to serve on the Supreme Court until the day you die.
It's
Not- So what? It's not. It's recommended that you don't, because you don't want to, be an adult old person. So usually when they die, it's because they die of something sudden, like a heart attack. But the fact that Ruth Bader Ginsburg is getting older, because they do serve for life, and so she dies or retires soon. The next president is going to be the one who makes a selection. And President Obama's going to choose somebody very different than Mitt Romney.
Let's go
So-
to Romney.
The thing about Clarence Thomas that you need to know is that in addition to the fact that he's a second African American, he holds what's called a textualist or an originalist approach. He looks exactly at what's written down in the Constitution and tries to apply it to today. There's not a lot of room for interpretation. Whatever the Constitution says, that's the law.
So everybody except for some
Justice Kagan is a little bit younger too.
And Chief Justice Roberts is probably maybe only 50.
Yeah.
He was 45 when he got put on the Supreme Court.
So the thing is that because they serve for life, when you're president, you want to appoint somebody young, so that they then serve for 30 years. You don't want. So
I want to do this already 8.
if they appointed me, there's absolutely no way that I would pass any confirmation to the Supreme Court. So the last one here, that Spanish lady, as Takima said,
she's not even up there.
correct.
That's the one.
No, I said that at the beginning. Yeah.
Don't put her.
You don't need to put her down. The point of this is that Clarence Thomas, all he does, he looks directly at the Constitution, whereas Justice Sotomayor had this quotation, I would hope that a wise Latina woman with the richness of her experiences would more often than not reach a better conclusion than a white male who hasn't lived that life. So Justice Sotomayor is saying that a judge's life experience should play a factor in interpreting the law. Clarence Thomas is saying that it shouldn't. I'm not coming down one way or the other, but that's going to be one of the debates that goes on in the Supreme Court.
Still today.
Yeah, absolutely. They're both on the court right now.
That's an Orioles game.
That's my younger brother.
That's your brother?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you knew.
I'm not lying at all. That's William Stokes. He won a national speech and debate championship.
Oh.
And so he got to meet both Maryland senators and Justice Sotomayor.
So is that an Orioles game?
No,
I cannot
I don't.
see-
That's my younger brother.
I cannot see that. How is it
I
your brother?
Is that an Orioles game?
Y'all kind of do. Kind of.
A little bit, but.
It's black curly hair. We have the same age.
How old is he?
When this picture taken, he was 17. He's 20 now.
That's probably a lot.
Does he go to William and Mary too?
No, he went to Mary Washington. Now he goes to school up in New England. Yeah, and it's one of the. So how have the decisions of the U.S. Supreme Court promoted equality and extended civil liberties? So, the codes that you need to know for this one. The civil rights movement of the 1940s, 50s, and 60s provided a model other groups have used to extend civil rights and equal justice.
If I put one more hole in it,
How about you take things off your desk and then use the,
without you.
desk?
Look,
Tasha, you are aware that you're on camera right now, right? I mean,
I know, I just thought about
I
it.
usually hear everything and just ignore it, but Mrs. Weaver's gonna get a kick out of that one, I think.
I didn't.
So, yeah, Civil Rights Act, does anybody remember what the Civil Rights Act did?
The civil rights act, like,
Equal employment rights.
Yep, you can't discriminate by race. And so one of the things that's gonna be set up is the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission to make sure that discrimination like that doesn't happen. So the United States protects the individual rights enumerated in the Constitution of the United States. So what are some of the individual rights that you as Americans have? That we as Americans have?
the Fifth Amendment.
Fifth Amendment, what does the Fifth Amendment do?
Basically the Fifth Amendment is like when you're in court and when you're in trouble, you really don't wanna say the answer, you just have plead the fifth.
Exactly. That's called, you have the right not to incriminate yourself. You don't have to give testimony against yourself. Anybody else? Very basic ones. What's the First Amendment?
Basically the Ten Commandments, that's.
That gets into some tricky territory, especially because since one of the things in the First Amendment is that there's freedom of exercise of religion, both that you can exercise whatever religion you want and that you can choose not to exercise,
I like the second one.
even though you're an athlete. I think that we're missing the point. But what it is, that there's freedom of religion, so that there's not an official church. And that's one of the important things early on, because one of the things that the founders didn't like was that there was an official Church of England. And they wanted the United States to be a more open society.
I'm Baptist.
Congratulations. So yeah, individual rights. This also comes down to when you're arrested. What did the police have to say to you when you're arrested? Miranda rights. That was set up by a Supreme Court case, Miranda v. Arizona. They didn't used to have to read those to you.
Because he was a Spanish person that did not know